Hello everybody, my name is Jim and this is an unsponsored video about a promotion that Kellogg's is holding where if you purchase one of the products that they have listed for this promotion, then you get a free book up to 10 books. I said before that I wasn't going to participate in any book hauls, but I thought, I get cereal anyway. The grocery store near me had a buy one, get one free deal going on, and I thought it would be crazy not to jump on this and get some of the books of my choice. So a couple of caveats. The selection, while I don't want to say is limited, I think it's about 140 books. So there's quite a selection there, but it's mostly children's, middle grade, and young adult. So if that age range isn't interesting to you, then you can obviously not participate in this promotion, or you can donate these books to a library, a school, a daycare, or somewhere else. But another caveat is if you use a food delivery service like Instacart, I don't know if you would be able to ask your Instacart shopper for a physical receipt. It's much better if you use a physical receipt. Some of these food delivery services send you the receipt online, and I know that Instacart shoppers very often take on multiple orders at once, so I'm not sure if they are able to separate your products on a physical receipt versus another customer's, but always feel free to ask. However, I would just recommend going out to the grocery store and purchasing these products yourself so that you have a physical receipt that you can take a photo of with your phone and not run into any problems. And if you happen to shop somewhere that hands you a receipt long enough to have been able to save 7 massive oak trees, you can take multiple photos of the same receipt and upload them together to make sure the necessary information is clear enough for you to receive your free books. So now that that's out of the way, I'm going to go over the 4 books that I chose. I don't know that much about them. I haven't really looked into them, but I am going to read their blurbs so that you get an idea of some of the books that are on the list. The first one is Mexican White Boy by Matt de la Peña. This was my 4th choice. I wasn't sure exactly which book to pick out, and I was kind of in a rush to pick, and the cover looked really interesting, but after reading the blurb, it does have a little bit to do with baseball, and I'm not that interested in sports stories, but I'm willing to give this one a try. It was the most interesting of the remainder. Newbery Award-winning and New York Times best-selling author Matt de la Peña's Mexican White Boy is a story of friendship, acceptance, and the struggle to find your identity in a world of definitions. Danny is tall and skinny. Even though he's not built, his arms are long enough to give his pitch a power so fierce any college scout would sign him on the spot. 95-mile-an-hour fastball, but the boy's not even on a team. Every time he gets up on the mound, he loses it. But at his private school, they don't expect much else from him. Danny is brown, half Mexican brown, and growing up in San Diego that close to the border means everyone else knows exactly who he is before he even opens his mouth. Before they find out he can't speak Spanish, and before they realize his mom has blonde hair and blue eyes, they've got him pegged. But it works the other way too, and Danny's convinced it's his whiteness that sent his father back to Mexico. That's why he's spending the summer with his dad's family. But to find himself, he may just have to face the demons he refuses to see. The demons that are right in front of his face, and open up to a friendship he never saw coming. Matt de la Peña's critically acclaimed novel is an intimate and moving story that offers hope to those who least expect it. So I picked this one mostly because I want to read the book Color Me In. This seems to have a similar vibe with identity, very relatable, and I hope that this story is more focused on that than the baseball, but I guess we'll see. This is a book that I may get around to next year. The next book on the list is Wink by Rob Harrell, a wrenching and hilarious story about embracing life's weirdness and surviving an unthinkable diagnosis based on the author's own experience with a rare eye cancer. 12-year-old Ross Malloy just wants to be normal, not to have a rare eye cancer, not to lose his hair, not to have to wear a weird hat or have a goopy eye full of ointment, just normal. But with a sudden and horrifying diagnosis, Ross can't help standing out. His new life is medical treatments that feel straight out of a video game. Vision loss in one eye, disappearing friends who don't know what to say to the cancer kid, cruel bullying, and ultimately friendships new and old that rise above everything. Just when Ross starts to feel like he's losing his footing, he discovers how music, art, and true friends can change everything. Filled with Rob Harrell's comic panels, parentheses, Batpig for the win, I don't know who that is, and spot art, this novel brings effortless humor and hope to an unforgettable, uplifting story of survival. I wanted to pick this story out because my dad is currently dealing with cancer of the eye, so he's had to go in for various treatments, including radiation, and it's just this ongoing thing where he has to visit doctors constantly and have shots in his eye, and it's just not a fun thing. I also have a friend who, at a very young age, had some dealings with his eye. I don't know if it was necessarily cancer, but he does have a bit of partial blindness in one of his eyes. So this would give me, hopefully, a little bit more insight on that situation and what they have to go through. And I just feel like it would be a very encouraging book to read if you are going through this sort of thing. It seems to be funny and lighthearted, and Rob Harrell is able to pull from his own experiences, which is always good. So I do definitely look forward to reading this. And is it a graphic novel? Because it says that it has his comic panels in it. So that adds a different visual element that I'm kind of excited for too. I didn't know that this would include that, but I guess we'll see. The next book is The Downstairs Girl by Stacey Lee. This was at the top of my list when I saw it and I read the blurb. I really wanted to read it because it sounded scandalous. By day, 17-year-old Jo Kwan works as a lady's maid for the cruel daughter of one of the wealthiest men in Atlanta. But by night, Jo moonlights as the pseudonymous author of a newspaper advice column for the genteel Southern lady, Dear Miss Sweetie. When her column becomes widely popular, she uses the power of the pen to address some of society's ills. But she's not prepared for the backlash that follows when her column challenges fixed ideas about race and gender. While her opponents clamor to uncover the secret identity of Miss Sweetie, a mysterious letter sets Jo off on a search for her own past and the parents who abandoned her as a baby. But when her efforts put her in the crosshairs of Atlanta's most notorious criminal, Jo must decide whether she, a girl used to living in the shadows, is ready to step into the light. Very interesting premise about a girl who is hidden away, who moonlights as someone who isn't herself and is possibly forced to reveal her true identity to everybody. Very interested in this. It is labeled as historical fiction, which is another plus for me. I'm all for this. And finally, the book that I saw and immediately ran to Chatty to tell her about, See You in the Cosmos by Jack Chang. If you're not familiar with Chatty the Mad Chatter and her channel, she talks about this book all the time. She uses it in examples for a lot of her videos, and it was a book that as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to tell her about this promotion. Very exciting stuff. Very cool to see a book that you're familiar with and that you've been wanting to read for a while, or at least look into, and you see that you're able to get it for free. So See You in the Cosmos by Jack Chang, an astonishingly moving middle grade debut about a space-obsessed boy's quest for family and home. All 11-year-old Alex wants is to launch his iPod into space. With a series of audio recordings, he will show other life forms out in the cosmos what life on Earth, his Earth, is really like. But for a boy with a long-dead dad, a troubled mom, and a mostly not-around brother, Alex struggles with the big questions. Where do I come from? Who's out there? And, above all, how can I be brave? Determined to find the answers, Alex sets out on a remarkable road trip that will turn his whole world upside down. For fans of Wonder and the Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, that is a long title, Jack Chang's debut is full of joy, optimism, determination, and unbelievable heart. To read the first page is to fall in love with Alex and his view of our big, beautiful, complicated world. To read the last is to know he and his story will stay with you a long, long time. Very excited about this one too. Not sure if I'm going to be able to get to it this year, but I did want to shout out Chatty because I am excited that this is like her book, and it made the list on the Kellogg's free book promotion. So if any of these books sound interesting to you, of course, I'm going to link to the feedingreading.com page for the Kellogg's promotion so that you can look at these as well as all of the other books that are part of this promotion. Also, if you want to take a look at their blurbs, I'm going to link to their Goodreads pages. I'm not going to tell you to purchase them for yourself because this promotion, you're going to get them anyway as long as you purchase a Kellogg's product. But if you pick other books, the Goodreads page is there. You can always borrow these books from your library either in person or using a library app if they are available. Otherwise, I have been Jim. You've been great. Happy reading.